it's no wonder that the Grinch is so pissy if people are singing those kind of songs about him. There's a whole song out there about the Grinch and how terrible he is and how bad he smells and all the stuff in his teeth. It's like, I feel like I'd be a little salty too. Ryan just walked away. Bye, Ryan. Zach, what's up?
I don't know.
I don't either. Welcome. It's on doxing.
Are we starting already?
Yeah, we started.
We
That's what I
wondered
was
why you
saying that,
left.
Ryan.
I didn't know you started. I didn't know we started.
Why do you think I stopped what I was about to say that was really funny to click on my computer a little
I thought you were
bit?
doing that thing where it's like, I want everyone to hear my joke, so you silenced the room so that you could tell your joke.
No.
So were
Ryan.
you just leaving so that you didn't have to listen to it?
No, I went to close the door because Robin's working.
Do you want me to repeat it? Did you hear it?
I mean, I heard some of it.
What did I say?
Something about no wonder the Grinch is the way he is because they have like a whole how long did you
Whole
say
song about how bad
yeah,
he
but
is.
didn't you say how long it was? You were like a whole 1.5 minute song.
Don't they really?
No, I didn't say how long. Yeah, have you ever heard
You're a mean one.
Mr. Grinch?
Well, yeah, that's after he's
You
doing
have
mean
termites in your smile.
It's not like there's just some guy walking down the street and they were like, "Hey, sir, you're ugly."
And remember that
And it was like, "Hey, sir, like you're trying to steal our Christmas.
Also-
That's mean."
but he hadn't been trying to steal Christmas at that point in this song. Like he was thinking about it, and then there's this whole song about how awful he is, and it's like, of course the dude. Like if that's all everyone thinks about him, like
You know
You know
what?
what's actually really funny?
I want a non-Jim Carrey
Grinch.
origin story.
There is.
yeah, there is
A non-Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, there is.
the new one, the new Illumination one had it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't
that
watch
one's
the
a-
new
that
Illumination
one's-
one.
I didn't like that movie.
I had so many questions. It was really. I thought it was pretty good, but
I'm still living in the 1980s.
I think I told you. I think I sent you a text.
The,
Or
movie
I
came out,
sent.
the original came out in like the 50s.
I was born in '93.
I sent you a text, or I sent you both a text in our group text about, hey, I have something I forgot. I've always forgot to say about the Grinch. The original, like the second.
Wait, you did send it, or
This was a while ago. This was back like when I saw that new Grinch movie.
Oh,
But it was only like a couple months, like a month ago, maybe
Yeah.
close to a couple weeks ago. But I rewatched the Jim Carrey Grinch, and I forgot that they live in a snowflake.
yeah,
Yeah.
So like, it reminded me that there's a terror that those Who's live in is the only one chance, like in however long it takes for that snowflake to fall to the ground, they celebrate their whole lives and then end their lives. And then do they restart? So like when it evaporates into the air after melting away, do they just get reincarnated into a nightmare hellscape where they're like, we're going to die again?
Oh, and it's like the flood, but
Or do
every.
or do they forget?
But like, how long what is the Who lifespan?
I think it's more
Probably
of-
only like 10 minutes. Like, no wonder Christmas goes by so quick in that movie.
I think it's more of time distortion because we zoom into the snowflake and then begin the story. So we've zoomed in to their time, which is much, much slower.
Yeah, but the reason I bring this up is, wouldn't that mean that what if the reason the Grinch is because he knows the truth, that he has to go through a whole lot, like he knows he's going to die very soon, and then he's just going to have to restart over. So he's sick of hearing those Who's sing that same dang song because it's the only song he hears for the rest of eternity. So what if he's the Grinch because he doesn't get to experience anything other than Christmas and the Who's sing that song? I don't even know the lyrics to it.
Fahu Dores Dahu Mores.
I would be pretty
welcome
angry
Christmas.
too. I would hate Christmas too.
Well, why wouldn't the people of Whoville also know about this?
Because they are like, so this obviously I don't know. I'm assuming a lot from the film, but I'm assuming the reason that if that's why he's angry, maybe he's the only one that actually knows what they all are in like this. You know how like when you go through a bad traumatizing thing, your brain blocks it out or tries to censor it for you. What if they censor it? Like their own, every one of them just wants to live in peace and happiness and decided to live with and are like censoring how bad the situation is. And then, excuse me. And then like but when singing the Fahu Dore song is them going to the Christmas tree, which they believe is their god, and they're trying to tell.
Okay.
They're like, please end this.
So wait,
end this, Santa Claus,
Do you
please
think
take
it's a
this away.
coincidence that the tree is green and the Grinch is green? Discuss.
Do I think? Wait, I guess
could it be a coincidence?
He is the only thing it's green.
Other than the
'cause-
Christmas tree.
Yeah, because I think what happened is a giant tree on like the mountain where he lives, like was kind of like
Mount Crumpet.
Is that what it's called? Mount Crumpet? I did not know that.
Is it a play
Really?
on Krampus?
I don't know, but yeah, no,
But-
it's like in the very beginning, I think.
I
and
didn't know-
also, one of my favorite things is, you know how in the Jim Carrey one, he jumps in the garbage chute. Mm-hmm. The name on the garbage chute says "Dump it to Crumpet,"
Oh, that's
where they're just dumping all their garbage into Mount Crumpet.
oof.
Which, if your lives are that short, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, how do you make that much trash? That's the question.
Well, okay,
I have.
but I want to go.
Well, that's
into,
why I think
but-
it's
But
time
to
to
answer
start.
your question about the tree thing, to go to that question.
Yes.
So what I think happens, you know how normal plants, they have to drop their seeds off to pollinate, like trees,
Yeah.
drop acorns. What if he was a mutation from all the garbage and disgustingness that gets sucked up into the atmosphere from us and our crappy oil and gas run cars and the coal mines, turned this what was supposed to be inside the snowflake, just a normal tree, turned into a mutant green thing. And that's why all of them hated him, because they were like, this guy's weird and scary, because he probably smelled bad.
the song explicitly tells us he does.
Yeah. So
Remember the three words that would best describe him?
It's a wild theory.
Stink, stank, and stunk.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think
Yeah. That's
I think he's green because green is the color of disgust, and he's a disgusting
But
character.
then why is the tree green?
Because green also, well, the tree is green because trees are green.
why is anything
And
different?
why-
and,
but-
and,
but
and
they're-
it's an evergreen,
But how do trees grow on
symbolizing
snowflakes?
the ever eternal love of Christ.
Why is everything different colors? Because it's in a freaking snowflake.
Yeah.
Also, what do you think they get each other for like Christmas?
Lots
Not-
of stuff.
Not
apparently.
from the
Because it's
cartoon, but I mean
in-
in the actual.
I feel like we're pretty much just talking about the Jim Carrey. We're basing all this on the Jim Carrey version, which I
because
love.
that's the only one that I care
It
about.
really goes into the lore of the
Yeah,
Grinch.
that's the only one I care
Um,
about. That's the only one that even set this theory up in my head. Is
I
the
think the
fact that
poem says it too.
well, I know he says like they're
Yeah, no, they literally
Packages
do.
and boxes
Hang on.
and bags.
yeah, but he's like he explains the stuff that they're going to like play with, but
He calls
You
them
ever-
who's its and what's its, and
yeah.
they're.
Are you looking up what it is? that
Hornets
they-
I'm
or something
absolutely
like that.
looking it up.
I know he says what they play with, but it's like I wonder.
But no, I think I
I
honestly
will
do-
say, if all the stuff that they have makes noise, I guarantee that Whoville on Christmas Day is probably the worst village to ever be a part of, with how loud it probably is.
Oh no, because they all have the joy of Christ.
Is that like actually a thing with the Grinch? Like, what did Dr.
Well, I
Seuss
mean,
believe in
considering
God?
that Christmas is the holiday that you celebrate the birth of
Yeah, but
Christ.
at this point, it's become so commercialized. Nobody even remembers who Jesus is on this day.
Well, that's why Santa is commercialized, but
yeah,
but
well,
they
that's-
have the joy in their hearts, and why it doesn't bother them that there's noise and that there's fun and that they're eventually going to die. But
Yeah,
the Grinch
okay,
doesn't
well, yeah.
have Christ, and he goes, you know what, I'm going to die, and it's not going to be worth it. And then when he realizes, you know what,
Are you trying?
life
to
is worth being.
Are you
good.
trying to convert our fans
No,
to Christianity?
if you would like to, you can at me at _leaf and
Tell me the stories of
um,
Jesus. You know what? Look, you want me to get super heavy with you? I have
for it.
never, in the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, and I think this is because of the idea that like, whoever you hang out with, like you absorb something about them. Like that's why you want to surround yourself with
You
certain
learn.
people. I have felt more ties and more pulls to go to church and go like than I ever have in my whole entire life, and I can't figure out why. And I think it's because there's a lot of all this like crappy miserable stuff is going on, and the only people that seem to be happy are people with some kind of religion, like people who follow something.
Well, there's actually, I actually think there's something I've been trying to think through myself, is that religious thinking and secular thinking have a very, very distinct difference. Secular thinking assumes that this is it. Religious thinking assumes that there's something after. So
Yeah,
with religious thinking, no matter how bad it gets for me, there's something after this. There's something to go to. With secular
okay.
thinking, this is it. So if you suffer, you're just suffering.
yeah, but I already have that idea already. Like I already believe I'm not.
Here we go.
I'm not miserable because I don't think anything happens. What?
So here are, so this is shortly after, I just looked up the script for the Grinch and found what I needed. So this is, he stole the stockings and he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room and he took every present. pop guns, pampugas, pantukas, and drums, checkerboards, bizzlebigs, popcorn, and plums.
So yeah,
Those are some of the gifts that the Who's give.
So they have plums, so they get to eat and also enjoy loud
Now,
banging noises.
There is a much longer list in here earlier in the script of all the instruments the Who's like to play.
Yeah, because that's when he's up on the thing. He's
I
like,
know.
they will play their.
Do you remember what any of the instruments are?
Oh man, I don't. Like
Zach?
the original cartoon, or
Yeah.
from the.
Not that I can think. I can actually imagine the scenes and
Tim-
what they look like, but I
I
can't
don't know
remember
why,
the
but like
names.
Tim Tumblers or something like that.
Tim
Tim Tublers. Is that
Tom Tumblers and
There's something.
So it's Jing Tinglers, Flu Fluvers, Tartukas,
Tartukas. That's what it was.
Hoo Hoopers, Gardukas,
our
Trumtukas, Slew Slunkas, Blum Bloopas, Who Wonkas.
These are all the noises.
They'll
Dr.
play
Seuss-
noisy games like Zuzita Karze, roller skate type of lacrosse and croquet, and they'll make ear-splitting noises, galooks on their great big electro
Like on the Great British
Hucarnio
Bake Off?
flukes.
You know
I had a
what?
lot of trouble getting that out.
You know what I think
I-
happened while Seuss was cheating on his wife? He
Yeah,
just
these
took
are all the noises the
that were
woman made. That's how he killed all the.
I love that we both went to the same place.
Yeah, that's all the noises he made while he was just. Never mind. That's too. I was about to say.
and
some
then
too
they had,
adult things.
you know what they like
no,
to eat,
there's-
right?
there's
the
a
Who pudding and the
phenomenal-
roast beast.
There's a phenomenal joke.
Who
called
And
pudding?
Who hash.
New hash?
Who hash.
Who hash?
Those are some of the things they like to eat for Christmas.
That's the stuff.
So what was Who Jesus like?
Probably the same, except he has a weird face instead of a human face.
Yeah, you just got
Okay.
a button nose.
Now, they have electricity.
How is it? How do they get it?
Exactly. So is there like
'Cause water-
coal on this?
They're that's what I'm getting at. I believe
who
them to be
invented
so
it?
microscopic that you enter a different time space, and then also a different universe because they're so microscopic compared to us. Because remember, it's our world that they're falling through.
So, but then how like? Okay, wait. How about this then?
Mm-hmm.
Why are there black Who's?
There aren't, are
Yes,
there?
there are. In the Jim Carrey one.
Oh, well, in the Jim
why-
Carrey one, but
why
that's
wouldn't-
because back.
wouldn't-
Which one are we? Are we going off the Jim
Any
Carrey
of
one?
them. I think the original one didn't because I don't think it
Why
was cool to
wouldn't
be
there
black
be-
back then.
Well, yeah,
but
that's-
now
I
it's
say
okay.
the original one.
Now it's okay.
They didn't
And-
have brown markers back then.
and
The color.
the Illumination one did too. So like,
Well, no,
They
well,
only had one.
if that's a development that comes from living near the equator, how did people who grew up on a snowflake get it? Granted, I don't think the Illumination one takes place on a snowflake.
I don't.
The Jim
yeah.
Carrey one's the only one that does that.
Yeah, I think so. It's the only one that goes inside.
no,
of
the original
snowflake.
takes place on a snowflake.
Does it?
Yeah, because that's
so
where
then,
they got
okay,
it from.
so
the
my
Jim
question
Carrey one.
stands is,
I don't think so because we watched the cartoon recently. And I don't remember them they show snowflakes to show who presented. And
I thought they
directed.
zoomed in on one because
They do.
I specifically remember a
I
cartoon.
don't think in the cartoon one they did.
Zoom
But maybe
in.
they did. I don't.
I haven't watched it in a while.
I could be
Yeah.
wrong. 'Cause
I don't
I am
remember.
wrong every once in a while. No, I
We
said
watched-
COVID
to be
wouldn't
wrong.
a thing.
I know we watched it recently. That's a weird.
Ryan will disagree, but I've been
You've
known to
grown-
be wrong before.
See, this is where I have proof. You've grown a lot.
How?
You're admitting that you are wrong sometimes.
All right, I take it back. I've never been wrong.
Whatever. Too late. It's on the film. It's on film.
I'll delete it.
I like how you
We're gonna go
choose.
through. And there's just gonna be like a 2-second
I'm just
and,
gonna
like
put
blank. It's just silence.
I'm just gonna put instead of cutting it, just silence.
I like how he because he has control of the editing. He chooses what to keep himself safe, but he'll just throw us under the bus.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know if you listened to last episode, but he was real. It felt like at times he turned up the audio. So for
I
some
never
of the
did.
things I
I
said,
didn't do much for that one.
oh, it sounds like it sometimes.
Well, I didn't. So
I'm just kidding. It,
Well,
doesn't,
now-
it doesn't sound like that.
I
You
did.
know-
Speaking of the last episode, though,
You know what
Zach,
we need? What?
Your intros and outros were. I was dying laughing when I was editing. They're so funny, and I really hope the
I did-
audience appreciates those.
I didn't realize you were recording it first. So
I
I think
know.
that's why it worked because I was like, because anytime you guys are like, "Hey Zach, do the intro," I'm like, "Oh god!" And like as soon as they're like, "Go ahead," and I'm like, I panicked.
You just opened with like Ryan's gonna kill himself. Like I'm like, oh yeah, it was so funny.
Arguably, what everyone opens their lives up with is Ryan's going to kill himself.
The doctor pulls the baby out and starts spanking it, and the first thing's out of its mouth is Ryan's gonna kill himself. The prophecy has been
That sounds like
spoken.
it.
Well, no.
Its eyes glow wide and white and just starts to go. Ryan will kill himself.
Did we start with that? I thought the intro was today we're going to discuss that when Ryan dies, he's going to go to hell.
Yeah,
That's
we did
right.
talk.
Yeah,
we did
that's
talk
right.
about me going how because you asked me to
and-
explain what did I do to
so-
get to hell, and
so
my
we're
only
fif-
response was in the last 5 minutes. You mean, or
We're
my whole
15
life?
minutes in, and I just realized we never properly introduced ourselves or said what the show is.
Well, hey, if the people are still here, thank you.
Yeah,
Welcome
thank
to
you.
Grinch unboxing.
Yeah.
This is what
Pop Culture Unboxing episode 56. I'm Matt.
Grinch edition.
The Grinch. Where we dive deep into the Grinch. I'm Matt.
Ooh, that sounds dirty. I'm Ryan.
I'm Zach.
Yeah.
See, okay.
Yeah.
Nah,
Go on.
I guess it doesn't.
No,
matter.
do it.
It doesn't
Say it.
matter. It doesn't matter. You guys talk real quick. I got to pull up. We basically indirectly hired someone. By the way, I indirectly hired someone and didn't tell them they're hired yet.
What do you mean?
This seems like a very interesting hiring
You're
process.
going to have to explain
Dally
this.
keeps he'll send me articles, so I basically call him. Like,
You have a ghostwriter too?
so kinda, but I look at him as our what is what do they call
Investigative journalist.
maybe like on the scene, like what do they always say, like we're going to our journalist
scene,
on the scene
on
Is it-
scene reporter.
Is that what it
Yeah.
is? So he's basically like our on scene
Location
reporter. Yeah, so like he's my emergency on site reporter who tells me the latest hot takes, so I don't have to work hard.
Yeah.
So I get paid to reap the benefits of him working for hard.
Now you know why it's great.
Yeah, he don't get paid yet.
Well, none of us do.
Someday.
You're telling me that I've been here since the beginning of the beginning of this year, and he's making just as much as I am.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
We have a very
Business ain't fair.
no, it's not.
Man, I really undersold myself.
You should have interviewed better. You should have come in and known what the competitive wages were.
He even sent me a Hollywood Reporter ad, so he's the Hollywood Reporter today.
Okay.
And
What
he sent me out of context. He just says, I just see the part of it that says Christopher Nolan rips HBO Max as worst streaming service. That was what the notification was I got, and it had his face next to it. I was like, so are you telling me this? I open it, and it's like,
why are you telling me this?
And he copied the link, and that must be the title of it.
Imagine that.
that's
Imagine
funny.
just like sending someone. You don't send them links or anything. You just send them the headline.
He also said, ignore the Christopher Nolan part. It's the streaming thing that's important. I said, cool, I'll take a look at that. Thanks. But he says, I was questioning whether or not to send it, but then it mentioned Dune. And all I could respond back, I said, trust me, if I could make a whole episode about Dune, Matt would be the happiest man alive. Any Dune works for me.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of, how is doing? Doing.
how's Dune?
It's coming out
Dude.
next October, but
But
otherwise good, I think. And oh no, it's not actually. Have you heard what's going on with that?
no, there we go. Now
Ryan?
we have an update.
No, what? Let me read this article first, and let me tell you.
Is that what it's about?
I have no clue. No, it's about Christopher Nolan talking. Look, so
Tristan Nolan.
Yeah, Tristan. Reading the article is pretty much what Christopher Nolan's just mad because of which I guess this is something we didn't talk about. So I have news for us to talk about today. But Christopher Nolan's mad at the HBO Max streaming service because instead of keeping theaters open, which as we know, Christopher Nolan, all his films work better in a theater.
Yep.
Right. So at least till the end of 2021, most of WB's major releases are all going to stream the same day they head to theaters on HBO Max for arguably cheaper than it would cost for all three of us to go together.
Yeah.
So like I could pay $15.99 to stream it here, and we all just sit at the couch and no one pays it. That's all we paid. And basically, Christopher Nolan's just mad about that because why wouldn't you be? Because this is good for us, bad for the small businesses, which are theaters. And I mean, whichever way you look at it, I think I'm kind of on the side of Christopher Nolan on it. Is like this is.
I'm gonna miss them, but
Well, theaters are going to be like, if people aren't listening in Pennsylvania, they might not know this one as much. But
You're gonna go to jail for going to the theater anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah. But theaters are going to kind of become like the craft brew scene, where it's like you've got a handful of places that do their own special thing, and that's probably what's going to happen
There
after
already
this
is though.
pandemic.
There's a theater. There's a theater that does that. They have their own beer and stuff that they serve.
Alamo Draft House.
Yeah.
That's around. You have a place like Row House Cinema here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
In Lawrenceville that shows whatever they want to show. Usually they'll do like themed nights and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's usually crappy art films, but
No, the HBO Max thing. They said that, and it included. I know Dune was one of them, and I forget what the other. It was Godzilla versus Kong.
yeah, because they have a
And then Legendary got upset about that. because
they-
apparently Legendary wasn't consulted on this. And so Legendary, who, by the way, Legendary is owned by, I forget what the company name is, but they're the same company that owns
yeah.
a major share in AMC.
Oh,
The theater chain.
So what you're talking about is also what this article
Okay,
seems
yeah.
to go into as well.
And so it's legitimate thing is like, yeah, Warner Brothers probably didn't talk to any of these people and just said this.
Yeah.
And now these other studios that were involved in movies are like, whoa, wait, hold up.
Yeah, can you even do that? Especially if they're under contract.
Exactly.
If you're under contract and they're like, hey, by the way, we're going to do this, they can easily sue and say, hey, listen, you're damaging my business because
Yeah.
you're not agreeing to what we had agreed to.
Exactly. Especially when Warner Brothers is much more of a distributor than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowed to just decide where to distribute stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
this even
yeah.
says here, like, many think Legendary will be the first to file a legal challenge. The company,
I'm surprised they
fired
haven't
off-
already.
yeah, well, when did this article get?
This would have been from a couple days ago. At
This
least.
was the 7th, a
Yeah.
couple days ago, yeah. But if I go back to what that,
I imagine their lawyers are drafting something up right now. Like,
So the question is, what gets to the Supreme Court first? Donald Trump's attempt to win the presidency or AMC's attempt
I'm just saying, I
to
called it.
send where
I
they
don't
want?
know.
I just called
We're
it.
not getting
the fact
into this.
that California is now making people go, like, threatening
guess
to
we're getting
arrest
into this.
people. I just want to say, when I said, whoever you vote, do you want to vote for Trump and you're going to live, we're going to be a laughing stock, or we vote for Kamala Harris and you go to jail. Look what's going on. We're all going to jail. They're going to arrest us.
That is kind of funny.
It's true.
But
we need
yeah,
to
but
just
anyway,
reset. New presidents.
But many
New president.
new president.
New presidents.
No voting. The president is now decided based on a random drawing of every American. And a random American becomes president.
would
Yeah,
be-
because
that would be
but there's a chance
terrifying.
Kanye West could be our president. So I'm
Exactly.
all about it. I
Dude,
think I still
my
have my
favorite-
banner on my Facebook.
The chances of Dick Warlock becoming president would be less than zero at that, or more than zero at that point.
I still think my favorite
Even by a point.
President Dick Warlock.
my favorite election
Can you
meme.
imagine that?
Wait, hold on, Zach. What are you saying?
Hold on. My favorite election meme was because Nevada took so long to come back.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, "How much do you want to bet Kanye won Nevada?" And they just don't know how to tell us.
I want to believe.
And I'm sitting there, and it's like I saw it because it was like 3 days after the election, and they're like, "Hey, Nevada, when are we gonna know?" They're like, "Maybe 3, 4,
Yeah.
like days, weeks, hours, probably 7." like it was like one of those things where like
They were just-
like, hey, we'll have it for you tomorrow. No, we'll have it for you this afternoon. Actually, we probably won't have it until Friday. I was like, what?
they were searching under the couch for any ballots that didn't say Kanye West.
Yeah, it's just that was my favorite meme because it was like 3 days after the election. They were like, Kanye probably won Nevada, and they just don't know
Yeah.
how to tell the rest of the
I like
country.
I just want to say about this article that Dally sent us. Like, I actually do. This is a really well written article.
Yeah.
But I do see this from because even the Dune director, what's his
Yeah.
name?
Denis Villeneuve.
There you go. I can never say that name. So at this point,
Try it.
no,
Denis
Denis
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve. Yeah, close enough.
Okay, well, Denis Villeneuve. He even said like he thinks his film should be in the big screen. That's
agree.
where it'll be its strongest. I think this is kind of I do like this, but also I think my fondest memories, at least in the last 2 or 3 years, was me and you going to movie theaters.
I know.
Like
I
those
miss
were
that.
great experiences. Of
Like
being,
one thing I still think about to this day is the time you and I went and saw Predator, and the opening ship battle started, and I just leaned over to you and said, "Ask me when I knew this movie was gonna suck."
and we went right to the podcast right afterwards, and I said, "When did it suck?" And he said instantly when it opened up.
That's funny. You know what we should do?
Cats was probably another memorable one. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
What we should do is we should go get a business loan and open
Okay.
up a brew and view.
Okay.
You want us to start our own movie theater with the
Brewery.
our own brewery theater?
And I was thinking about this. I was up in Butler this weekend, and in the Clearview Mall, there's this really cute little coffee shop that's also a vape shop, and I fell in love with the place. I'm like, I would love to have a place like
What
this.
is it?
It's a little coffee/vape shop.
I want a cigar bar.
It's
That'd be
great.
cool.
Well, okay,
Cigars
so
are good.
cigar bar, brewery, vape shop, coffee shop, movie theater. Let's do it.
Can I do
It's
custom
just
bourbons?
crazy enough to
Yeah.
work.
Yes.
It's
I'm in.
crazy enough to work.
Yeah.
Wait, I was the one that came up
What
with
do
the
we
idea.
call it?
The view and brew, or the brew and view.
But there's more things to it.
The brew.
The
Voob?
view and brew and What do you do with liquor?
Shot.
And distill and
View,
and
brew.
smoke and
You should just call the place work in progress. That's what you should just call it.
okay.
Just
Or we can
whenever
call
it's like, hey, where are you going tonight? Work in progress.
We didn't,
yeah.
or we can call it we didn't know where to stop.
Yeah.
Or we could call it just not a tanning salon because that's the only thing it's not.
Hey, you guys want to go to the not tanning salon?
Yep. Because that's the only thing it's
Oh,
not.
hold on. I've always wanted to have own a business and call it that place.
There you go. That
just
place.
to frustrate the ever living.
Just on the side, we should put
someone's
stuff
friends.
that we should also be a hardware store. Just on the
Okay.
side, on one wall is just a couple tools, and we say hardware
a
store.
couple screwdrivers.
Yeah,
Strike a deal with
And like
Fastenal.
2 different sizes of screws, but there's only like 6 of each of them.
and there's 5 different hammers, all of different colors and sizes.
I think the best thing we could do is just strike a deal with Fastenal and just let them have just a wall of bolts and nuts. And
We could sell,
but nothing to use.
but yeah,
we could
nothing
sell
to use.
Yeah,
but
we could
just
sell a
the
drill.
bolts.
We could sell drills, but no drill bits. Like
Okay.
actual
Like-
drill bit sets.
Yeah.
It's just the drill itself, not even in
Okay.
the box. It's
no, not even. Or what if
has
it's not
like
even-
dust fingerprints over it because we used to just put it on the
don't have
shelf.
batteries either?
Yeah.
And we can call it a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
There you go. No, that's the store. That's a store we'll start that sells the bits.
Here's yeah. We open up a side business.
Yeah,
And it's
a side hustle.
just call it side hustle. It's just got the other things that we don't have. So it's got a tanning
hustle.
bed on one side of the room and then nuts and bolts on the other side.
Yeah.
It sells
It, like I could just imagine somebody coming in to get a beer and watch a movie, and they're just like, "So what's all
Oh
that?"
man, I really wish
don't
I
know.
could buy a drill. Oh man.
I hope you didn't want anything else other than the drill.
I hope you enjoyed our custom-made 15% alcohol beer. Here's a drill. Go drill something.
Go knock yourself out,
Spend
Tiger.
$30, get a free drill.
Oh, we have
Wow.
to talk about something else.
What's up?
Spider-Man 3. Did you hear?
Hang on. Dally, thank you for the article. Well, I'll give you this article, Matt.
Shout out.
Oh, you already have it?
No, I'll give you the
Do
article.
you know what the news is, though?
No, I don't. Go on. I
Really?
was trying to thank our other employees.
I thought you were leading into something with it.
Is Tobey Maguire going to be Uncle
Also,
Ben?
we need to set up
No.
we need to set up a Zoom call with him
Yeah.
so we can have him on the show.
We
I would
do.
really like that.
So
I
the
would
latest,
like to have a face and a voice.
the latest news out of Spider-Man 3, Doc Ock is going to be a villain.
The original, like Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't
Wait.
like where this is going.
Spider-Man 3 casts Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus opposite Tom Holland.
What is Sony doing? They're
Alfred
just-
Molina is the same guy
The same guy that played him the
who
first
played
time?
him in the Tobey Maguire.
Do you know what's
Spider-Man
really
movie.
good about
I,
that?
I
though?
wonder if that's kind of their way of confirming it without confirming it that they're going to do a multiverse.
I can tell you what this means for me, though.
I like this theory
means I'm
that
getting
Spider-Man 3 is a Sinister Six movie.
I
Yeah.
can't, dude. That's what this is telling me. We're getting a Sinister Six movie because every Sinister Six always has Doc Ock involved, and the fact that we may have Craven, we got Vulture, we know Vulture's in it. We're gonna have Morbius, because here's the thing, and I'm getting real angry, and I think Sony is just like looking at the list, like, okay, this is what they liked from Spider-Man, from the original Spider-Man. They liked Tobey Maguire. We're getting him. They like that Dr. Octopus guy.
Getting
You
him.
get him. And then they looked over here at Andrew Garfield, like they kind of like the blue guy, so let's get him.
Get him.
I guess everyone likes Garfield, so we'll get him. So they're like, this is our risk, and we'll take what we know they'll like.
Yeah.
But then we'll take a risk and roll the die.
There's also a rumor that Charlie Cox is going to be reprising his role as Daredevil in this movie.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know
I
how
don't-
true it is.
I don't.
Because at this point, who hasn't been rumored to be in this movie?
That movie's gonna be bad. I'm telling you right now.
I know.
Spider-Man 3 is gonna be really bad.
I wonder if they're
It's
just
gonna be a
hyping
bad
up
movie.
all of this, and the entire movie is just going to be like Peter Parker swinging around New York, like solving petty crime.
That's
and there's
what-
never gonna there's never gonna be like a big moment of safety, and at the end, it's just going to be Peter learning to deal with the fact that he's
Everyone-
already hit the biggest thing he could hit.
and everyone already knows he's
Ooh.
Spider-Man.
And at the very end, it's just all these people like zooming back and forth in the multiverse in the extra credit scene, where there's
Okay.
just all these people
Yeah,
going
like
back
all
and
of
forth.
the actual action between all the villains is actually
It's in the
happening in
after
the end
credits.
credit scene. In the-
And it sets up the fourth movie where that actually happens. That would be an absolute troll, and it would be
That would
priceless.
I
be
would like to
incredible.
think that if they make it, it's all about petty crime, but every so often they make like a shadow or something in like a thing where it's kind of like, oh, there's Doc Ock's clam or hand, and then he walks out. It's a dog. It's like it's just a dog like on
But
like
its mouth is like split into the 4 parts.
yeah, because it's like it had an accident. That's
It's got a
No,
flower
it's not
hat.
nothing that morbid. That's just a weird dog.
It's got
like
a
some
flower
like
hat.
black slime starts to fall down. You think it's gonna be venom, and it just turns out it's just tar coming
Yeah,
off of like
off a roof. Well,
the whole time they keep implying you're gonna see the villain.
That's actually a really good idea. It'd be great if the entire movie is setting up the 4th one, and it's just Peter Parker swinging around New York, and it starts to show all of the tears in the fabric. So like every once in a while, you'll see the other Spider-Man, like while Peter's fighting like this petty crime, like in the background, like the other Spider-Man will show up, and like somebody will notice it and be like, "There's 2 of them," and then he'll go away, and then like, and then Doc Ock will come in. Like randomly, like while Peter's still doing like regular petty crimes, just like showing up
Wait,
like
Peter's
behind
doing
him
the
at all
crimes?
times.
I
Yes.
think I know. How
Okay.
Committing like random petty
Do
crimes.
you want my actual prediction of how I think this film's actually going to go?
Yes.
Because Doctor Strange is going to be in it. I mean, hear me out because I could be wrong and this may not make sense, but in my head it kind of does because I can see the film. But there's gonna like the drama is going to be that everyone knows who Spider-Man is. The
Yep.
cops are going to be after him, so he's going to go to Doctor Strange and ask for help. And Doctor Strange is going to help him go through the universe, like the multiverse, to help try to reverse what happened. And all we're going to see is just a bunch of cameos from all these different villains and characters. And we're not actually going, like, we're going to see Tobey Maguire and them, but they're not going to talk to him. And that's what they're
Okay.
going to do. Because it seems like Sony's doing what they normally do, and they're trying to fill in too much. They're like,
Yeah.
we've been wanting this Sinister Six movie for a while. We're going to do it. And we're like, well, look, just because I know who all those people are and I saw all those characters on movies does not mean that everyone coming to watch the next Spider-Man movie has seen all those characters. It's going to be it's going to be a very mixed audience.
Yeah.
Or it's going to everyone's going to walk away from it like they did the Rise of Skywalker. Be like,
Yeah.
all you did was constantly smack me in the face with fan service and not actually tell a good story.
Yeah, that's a huge problem.
Well, no,
That's what-
I
and that's
would
what-
give that to That's not Rise of Skywalker. That's The Force Awakens.
No, that's definitely Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
Well,
There
no,
it
no.
is.
Rise of Skywalker also did it, but I feel like that's more with the. I feel like I give.
I
more,
disagree because
I
Force
give
Awakens
more credit.
was liked by everybody.
Force Awakens was good. Yeah.
Well, the Force Awakens was A New
Force
Hope rebuilt.
Awakens.
Well,
I
and
reckon
that's
Force
exactly
Awakens
it.
stuff.
And so that's why it was good, is because it was a tried and true story.
Well, there's a difference between tried and true and the same story.
I think that they made a good.
Not really. It is a textbook hero's journey.
Well, we also
which is
know why.
always a
Orphan
safe
on a
story to go
sand
with.
planet meets space wizard, kills big Death Star.
Yes, the
But that's
hero's
the thing
journey.
is like the film. The reason the Force Awakens.
I'm not. You're laughing. I'm not joking. The Force Awakens and New Hope are almost beat by beat a traditional hero's journey story, which is the most popular story to tell.
Well, no,
And
but
they
there's-
played it very. And the reason they did is because they knew if they wanted to launch a new trilogy of Star Wars films from Disney, they had to do something to help keep the fans interested, and that's why they did it. What they did was completely a way to market it. It's just the fact that they had technically technically 3 different directors doing a film to try to complete a trilogy, and then they couldn't hold up to fan service.
So what I'm getting at is that there's a difference between, because I agree with the hero's journey, but the hero's journey is a set of 5 or 6 different stages where the hero's in a place of comfort, something happens, they have to go out of their way, they grow, they find their way back, and then they succeed. And that's the hero's journey. There's a difference between that and like side by side, I just watched a rehash of the same movie with different characters. And that's how I look.
Yeah.
That's how I
that's
looked
the
at
thing.
The Force Awakens.
I
And
understand
did
that
look at-
mindset though, but the problem is the reason the Force Awakens changed enough to make it still feel like it was enough. It was basically like the Force Awakens was never supposed to be the film that that everyone thinks it's supposed to be. It was not supposed to be like the tried and true Star Wars film that we're looking for. That's what 8 and 9 were supposed to be. This was supposed to, after all these years, have the Star Wars fans trust Disney to do the right thing. If they would have applied that same, if they would have released Duel of the Fates the original version of this film, I guarantee everyone would have loved it. Because the thing is, like, even though they stuck to the guns of what The Last Jedi had set up, there eventually we'd all look at it like the prequels. We'd have more respect for it because they actually did.
Yeah.
Like, they kept to what they were doing.
Well, I think that's exactly the problem.
Of course,
especially
unfortunately, Lucas is now back involved in some form.
some capacity. Yeah.
Well, he's really back involved because now they're changing Rey's. They're retconning Rey's stuff now.
Oh,
Are you
they
watching
should.
that conspiracy channel again?
No, so a lot of people are seeing that it appears that Filoni and them want to make Rey a Skywalker. So what they're doing is the way they're using the Mandalorian with the cloning to help the Emperor clone himself, which he doesn't. Which, you know how he's like cloning Snoke?
Yeah.
It's looking like what they want to do is take Luke's DNA from the hand, which was found in a comic book, a Star Wars comic book, and they're going to try to basically Rey's dad will not actually be a direct line to Palpatine. It's going to be like Palpatine is Anakin's father technically because he created him inside of Shmi's womb. What this is going to be is Rey's going to get basically, as she's being created, she's going to be injected with Skywalker blood. That's why the lightsaber called to her. Like, Filoni and them are just basically like, all right, well, if this is what Disney wants to do, we'll double down on it, but we're going to try to make it at least make a little bit more sense.
Well, and that's why I give The Rise of Skywalker more credit, even though it still wasn't a good movie in my opinion.
Nope.
It did the best it could with how bad the second movie just subverted expectations to the point of it was unusable.
Yeah.
Like every storyline that they built in the first movie was just thrown away. And then they're like, oh, hey, by the way, J.J. Abrams, make something out of this nothing burger.
Yeah.
Make a third movie out of two movies that one built up a bunch of storylines and a bunch of hype, and the second one threw it all away.
Yeah.
So you have nothing to work with. Now try and make something happen.
That's why I think the original director of it should have just kept with Duel of Fate because
Colin Trevorrow was
what
the who they
Colin
had directing
Trevorrow
it.
was doing was it's like, okay, this is what Ryan did. I'm going to try to do what he did. I'm going to try to continue the story.
Well, but I think
in
the
a
real
way that
solution
makes
is
sense.
have the same person direct all three of them.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the
Exactly.
solution.
And the reason that Force Awakens had the issues it did is because JJ had to go in there and dangle a bunch of threads for the next director to pick whichever ones he wanted. Instead of having a cohesive thing where the Force Awakens sets up the new characters and then at the end it's revealed the Emperor is still alive. Second movie is the Resistance getting trounced over and over again by the First Order. And then the third movie is them rising up to defeat him. Sure, it's the same as the original trilogy, whatever. But good versus evil always is a hit. And
I think there's also what didn't help Disney at all was the fact that every chance Disney had the opportunity to just admit what they were doing, which was all very clear. It was clear that they had no actual plan. They stuck to their guns and kept saying, no, this was everything that's happening was the plan from the very beginning, all the way from Force Awakens. But now, even the actors are like, no, it's not true. Like, they told me I was going to be Obi-Wan's daughter when I was in the second film. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now we see what's going on. Like, that's the thing is, like, the plan changed so much because they had different directors. And because when you see the Duel of the Fates script, it's almost been, at this point, actually, it's pretty much been confirmed because there's a original leaked list of John Williams' original soundtrack for Star Wars. And it, like, the title of the songs, beat by beat, match what the original script for Duel of the Fates was supposed to be. It's like, oh, Vader's Castle, that shows up in Duel of the Fates, doesn't show up in Rise of Skywalker. There's one where they talk where basically I think it's like a Jedi heaven. Rey goes to with the other Force ghosts in the original film. Like it was clear that there was a better. Like I said, Colin's plan would have been. Look, there was no way everyone was going to be happy.
Oh yeah.
But I think if they would have stuck with Colin's plan, more people would be like me and would have been like, yeah, that film would have been fine.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, I don't necessarily have to like everything about the new trilogy that you built, but there has to be some kind of consistency. Like I need to be able to link things that happened in the first one with the second one and the third one, and it does have to be scripted well enough to the point where I can start to go, oh yeah, that thing happened here, that thing happened here, that makes sense. But especially like with what they did with the second one, which its name is so bad I can't remember it. I mean, the movie was so bad I can't remember the name.
Oh, The Last Jedi, I mean?
Yeah, The Last Jedi. Like it was so. Like The Last Jedi was so bad. Like I honestly do believe The Last Jedi was the worst Star Wars movie out of the 9 because it subverted all expectations. It ruined your heroes. Like it didn't even show that your heroes are fallible. It was like your heroes are garbage.
Yeah.
And then like there were so many different things that they could have done. I absolutely hate what they did to Finn because they built Finn up to be someone who didn't believe that he was capable of using the Force and then eventually would. And then they just kind of dropped him off in the third.
Well, in the third one, they kept implying he has the Force, but they never let him say it. And the fact that the holiday special, the newest one that came out, the Lego one, Rey is training him to be a Jedi in the Lego special.
Wow.
So like,
I still haven't watched that yet, by the way.
Well, and to be honest with you,
that's how it starts out. Is he's training her to be she's training him to be a Jedi.
And there's a perfect opportunity with the third one where like he really does start to go, you know what, there is something here.
Well, he even says it like, how do you know what you know? And he's like, a feeling.
Yeah, well, and like he doesn't even have to wield a lightsaber in the third one. He just has to use the Force in some meaningful way.
Yeah,
like make it like one of those things where like he does something by accident and doesn't know how to replicate it. Where it's like maybe he gets shot at and he puts his hand out to stop it and it actually like he stops it and then he goes, wait, what? And then we know, but it's like, you know what happened, but like he doesn't. And it's one of those things where he kind of goes like,
there is one thing that in all 9 films that is a constant that I've learned about, and it all has something to do with Palpatine. Palpatine doesn't know how to shut his lightning off.
What?
Palpatine doesn't know how to shut his lightning off. When his face gets scarred, it's because he's shooting lightning at Windu and he's blocking it back with his lightsaber. And he's like, it hurts, I'm too weak. He's like, well then stop electrocuting yourself. When he does it to Vader, when Vader picks him up, when he's electrocuting Luke and Vader picks him up to throw him off the shaft, he's still electrocuting himself.
True.
How he dies in The Rise of Skywalker is because he wouldn't turn his electricity off while Rey blocked it back at him and blew him up. which is proof that they didn't know how they wanted to kill him, so they were just like, well, we'll just do this.
Yeah. Oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
Star Wars, man.
That is funny.
Star Wars is something else.
Mara Jade may come back. Who knows, man?
That would be dope.
That's apparently.
Can we talk about The Mandalorian though? Have you been watching?
We should, because there's
I have not.
Man, everyone that backed the HasLab thing, if you know what that is.
I remember you mentioned it.
The HasLab Razor Crest. Everyone that paid $350 to back that project, all felt their wallets cry out in fear. Like,
why?
That's funny.
Because they blew the ship up.
Because
they blew the ship
You're
up.
right.
Everyone's like, I spent $350 on this ship and it's gone.
He's gonna
now.
get a new one.
Well, he's not gonna have a Razor Crest, is what everyone believes, and it's just like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Marketing ploy. Now he'll get a new one. It'll be like,
But
all
I
right,
Do you
now I
think
gotta
he'll
have
keep the
this one.
slave one?
No.
You don't think so?
No. I think what's gonna happen is he's gonna end up riding the slave one.
You
and
need
not
to watch
like it.
this because Boba Fett is so cool in it. He finally does something.
Thick Boba
And-
Fett.
Does way more than I asked him to do.
I know. Could you tell that they sped a lot of that stuff up though?
Yeah, I could.
It was pretty obvious.
I did get to see that fight scene, and it did look.
There were bits of
was-
it, like
it was
especially when
cool.
he's like moving his arms and stuff like that. They sped it up for sure.
Yeah.
I do think my favorite part was there's this guy that did a critique afterwards. He goes, I have no idea why all these people with guns just kept running at him and never shot.
Yeah. Well,
It was just,
liked
it's like
it.
one of those little details that you're like,
I liked
yeah.
how hardcore he was bashing like their helmets in with. I did also like when he first talks to the Mandalorian, they do like a callback to the original Jango Fett line.
Yeah.
It was like,
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the galaxy, like my father before me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
So cool.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
see, those are details. Like, that is how you build a good story, where it's references that like it makes sense in the moment and it makes sense historically throughout the movies.
Do you remember Zeb from episode 2? His like Jango Fett's.
You mean Zam?
Was it Zam? I thought
Zam
it was
Wesell.
Zeb.
Zam Wuzzle.
I'll be honest with you. I thought you said Zim, and I was like, Invader Zim is in
No,
this?
but do you know how like she gets killed by Jango Fett? But you notice that the helmet he wears matches that girl that's with Boba Fett matches. It almost looks like it's
Does
the
it?
same two people, just different colored armor. Yeah, I rewatched episode 2 recently, because I started painting Clone Boys. I got those
Clone Boys?
clone miniatures, and I started.
cool.
I started painting them, and I painted Obi-Wan. And while I was doing it, I had Star Wars playing in the background. And episode 2 started. I looked up, and was like, "Hey, that looks strangely like hey, wow, Boba Fett just like his daddy. It really is just like his daddy. Hopefully, he shoots her like his daddy." But I'm pretty excited for the Boba Fett TV series now because I like that. I like the character.
Yeah.
I like both those characters.
Yeah, they're both dope. I'm excited.
I feel like
I was really mad, dude. It didn't take
And
long.
we confirmed it. Django was a Mandalorian.
Yeah, he was He was part of Death Watch.
Oh, was that confirmed?
Yeah,
I
he
thought it
was.
was just-
He was a foundling from Death Watch.
Oh, okay.
That's what makes sense of why his armor was silver and blue. So
Yeah.
that makes it all fits there.
I was gonna say
Like George Lucas planned it all along.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it is absolutely amazing how cool of a character they created out of like the original 5 minutes of screen time Boba Fett got
Yeah.
from the original series. It's like you kept him
Yeah.
obscure enough to where people could build up this great idea of who he was, and then they're like, you know what, we'll make that.
I have a theory on why The Mandalorian works so well, and I think it's because most of us that are watching it right now are all in our age or older.
Yeah.
And most people our age are really into like those realistic spaghetti westerns. Like
Yeah.
they're making a comeback, and I can't help but think that that's because The Mandalorian is a spaghetti western,
Yeah.
but with like in a futuristic sci-fi world, and that I think that's why most of us. Because truth is, I don't think most of us as adults don't look at the world as a good and evil place. We don't, because not everything like the
Yeah.
real world around heroes is not good and evil. It's just depend. That's why me and you said when Rogue One came out, and we said to each other, the part that we liked the most is the fact that it showed that the rebels were not purely good.
No,
they did
they
screwed
weren't.
up things to get to where they were.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the Mandalorian is.
You got to figure out what you're willing to do to succeed.
Yeah, like we're watching a guy who didn't have allegiance find something that he cares about and take care of, like basically living up to what the Death Watch did for him when he was a foundling. Now he has a foundling.
Yep.
I'm finding it really interesting that like, especially in I'm gonna say like the last 10 years, they have found this phenomenal like father-child archetype, and they are following it, and it is just going wild.
Yeah,
Where they're like, okay, there's a guy who's most likely violent, terrible, and like beyond competent, and just a horrible person, but he finds something that makes him want to be tame.
yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
and it's like this really interesting because like I've noticed that a lot lately. Is like that seems to be a big theme right now, and for some reason we all really want that.
I think it's because most people right now are feeling or have like psychologically are feeling like everyone around them are monsters. Like they have to become a monster. And when you find things wholesome like that, you feel better about them because right now the world is not so wholesome to the point that we
Exactly.
don't know tomorrow if someone's going to finally lose it and we're going to start a war. Like
Yeah.
it's so crazy out there right now. As the Joker said, like it's getting crazier out there. It's like, it really
Yeah.
is. Like we're
Yeah.
living in that
Well,
world right now.
Oddly enough, I think it has. I think now I could be completely wrong in the percentages on this, but I think now there's a majority of children are born like out of wedlock, which doesn't
That's
mean which doesn't
definitely
mean
a
that they don't have fathers, but there's a lot of single mothers.
Yeah.
And like I feel like there's like there's almost like a craving for
You know what
for a
bugs me?
masculine figure.
You know what bugs me? Is there's all these cases where nobody knows who the father is. Why don't we have more where people don't know who the mother is?
Because mothers
You
are
know,
all
like
mothers are
it honestly feels really sexist to me that they can immediately pick out a mother.
okay.
but
How
they don't-
deep do you want me to get into this? Because I have some. I got some.
What does my inflection tell you?
I can. Well, I know you don't want me to get deep in this, but I can.
don't,
I
you're
can
right.
sound. I could. This is big brain time for me. Like right now. One, it's because mothers are are naturally more nurturous, but also because as we are as humans, we do still have that that evolutionary thing in us that makes us want to go off and do things, and in like
Do what
a
exactly?
in a like structure from apes. The
Can you be
men
more
always go
specific?
out to go kill and do more things. So unfortunately, that's what a lot of people theorize is that the men still have that like urge to go out and be like hunters and gatherers, but that's not how society wants us to be right now.
And
No,
wait,
I feel like that, well, one.
this
I
doesn't
have
answer
no.
my original question.
I know it
at
does.
all.
I actually would like to come back to that,
I mean, we're not going to.
but well, in that case, I'll address it now. No, actually,
We'll address it.
one of the things that
Just throw me on blast right here.
Yeah.
one of the things that's actually no, I think you're correct. But one of the important things that society does is it teaches men that they need to be responsible and that they need to take
Yeah, but
take
you
care
tell-
of this,
Give me a
because-
good reason why they don't, though. Why is that lesson not?
because you have a lack of fathers, which is exactly why these spaghetti westerns and all these shows that are showing this
Yeah, but why do you have that lack
father-child
of father?
archetype are going wild because people are like, that's what I want.
Yeah, but right now we have a lack of fathers. But you got to figure out why is there a reason? What's the reason that we have a lack?
Because
of
men
fathers?
aren't taking
There's a-
responsibility.
But what? But again, what is the real reason? Why do they feel a nature to not like? Why is it that women feel are better at being nurturing and wanting to be there, and most men don't? What's the problem?
For those
I can't
of you,
ignore this anymore.
for those
Ryan's girlfriend Robin is standing behind us as we're discussing this. And just the look on her face, as especially Ryan here says all the stuff he's saying, is priceless. Did you hear the initial question? No. The initial question was, why are there all these single mothers and there's no question about who the baby's mother is? Why are there not more, or I messed that up.
why are
there
there-
so many questions about who the baby's father is? But why are there no babies where it's like, oh, who's the mother?
There was that one pursuit of happiness.
Like, no, I'm serious. Like you might have a woman who has a baby and she's like, I don't know who the father was. Why don't we have any men who have a baby and he's like, I don't know who the mother is?
We do though.
We push it out. It's like no question.
That's the correct answer. Yes, I know. I want to invite more interesting answers.
He wants a joke answer. is
I
what
do.
He wants.
Yes.
He wants everyone wants us to make fun of the question.
which with me and like my logical brain, I'm just like, yay, I get the joke, but I also don't.
I've been
get
listening
where
to too
you're
much
going.
Jordan Peterson. That's the problem. I want to be I want to be.
Analytical.
You got to get a lot closer to these mics if you want to be in this too. But we are getting
great.
up on time here, though.
How much?
We're at 52 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's,
So,
gotta end.
But
it
yeah,
anyway.
that is something that maybe we can get into next week. Is like the reason why there's such a big
can we not
push for that.
Let's just copy Joe Rogan's podcast and just me and you make our own. It'll be the Zach and Ryan experience.
We've already talked about this. We recorded a test episode. It still exists. I never deleted it.
That's the political.
Oh no,
show.
that was
I
the
mean-
political one that I,
mean
did
just
I
a
have a feeling
random,
because I had no
it'll
clue what
be
was
one
going
and
on.
the same.
a conversation podcast. Just
Conversation
constantly
podcast.
bring people up and just talk to them about normal things.
We'll find a name for
just
it and we'll
be
put it out
normal
there.
and not joking and stuff like that.
I mean, you can joke. I
I
feel
feel
like
like
real
normal is
people.
joking
That's what
for
I
us.
want to talk. I want to just talk
That's
to
too
people.
real for me. It makes me uncomfortable being real, which is why we're on here, where we tell jokes, and Matt is his best self. Thanks for listening, everybody. I've been Matt.
That was
I want to
great.
ask you to go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those cool things at Pop Culture Unboxing. And you can also follow me on Twitter at MattRossVO and on Twitch and YouTube at Jan Jingle, where I've been streaming a whole lot more.
What was the deal I made last episode? If we get a certain amount of like,
Oh yeah, what
Downloads
did
or
you come to? We will release your aristocrats joke
Yes.
if we
Yes.
hit.
was it 50,000? I can't remember. I
You
can't
said so
remember.
many viewers by when?
by a year from when that episode aired. So last Wednesday.
So we're looking at like December 8th to
yeah, I think like
to get how many subscribers?
I think it was like 50,000 like subscribers or,
Yeah.
or at least.
Well, you heard
viewers
it, guys. Send out get 50,000 people.
to constantly listen to us for a year, and
Yep. And Ryan his aristocrat joke will be available to the public.
Yes. So you can find Ryan at.
and 2 hours later we can go ahead and hang me at the stake.
You'll find him at the stake.
Yeah. You can find Red Steak Ryan pretty much everywhere. I think I'm gonna start doing the streaming thing. I think I'm gonna get involved.
Do it.
In some
Get
way.
in.
That'd be cool.
Okay, wait. Zach, you give your outro.
Oh yeah, you can find me at little_relief, LIEF. I am not a Brazilian woman, so make sure there's that underscore.
Is there really an outro if we just go back into a conversation?
I want to end it pretty shortly, but time and time again, you more so than you, and I pointed at Ryan first and then Zach, just for clarity, have said over and over that you will come on and play games and be on my stream and hang out with me. And not once
Which
have
game are you playing?
ever done it. You get so upset at me about being inconsistent over texts and showing up on time for things, but then I try to make plans with you to play video games, and you never show up.
Well,
tell you that if you see me, open up Discord. You're online on there a lot. I know it. If you see me in voice chat, jump in, because I'm in a voice chat.
But I don't look at Discord. I turn my computer on. Discord opens automatically, and then I stop there. I don't look at Discord. Because usually I'm on my computer, so I'm watching YouTube videos, or I'm painting, and I need something in the background.
Okay, so play a game, open up Discord, and actually look in there and see if I'm around. And if I am, jump in the voice chat. Be
You
like,
never
hey, Matt,
are. You work
what's going on?
18-hour days now.
Basically, but anyway, I've been playing at night pretty consistently every night.
I'm not a single dude anymore. I have a life outside of video games.
But you still hop on your computer to play video game or to watch YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, because I'm painting. That's when she gives me time.
This somehow became an argument in the middle of a podcast, and
Bye,
I'm just sitting
everybody.
here awkwardly.
Bye.
Goodbye.
I love you.
Have fun.